Hello and welcome to Intercultural Communication, CMST 310. My name is Rob McKenzie. I'm the professor for the class. I'm also the chairperson of the Department of Communication. I'd like to start out by asking you a question about that word culture, since it plays so strong a role in our course, Intercultural Communication. Is there a word other than culture in the rest of the English language that has so many different meanings to it? I mean, think about it. Can you get your head around culture when that term is used? I mean, some people refer to culture as high culture, symphony music, ballet, opera. Other people refer to culture as pop culture, sort of the opposite of high culture. That would be what's popular in the mass media, any television show on primetime television, for example. Still others refer to culture as a way of living. And if you want to look at people and understand the culture, you see how they live. Still other definitions of culture are the way that one group of people distinguishes itself from another group of people. It's what makes one collection of people different. Those are just a few of the definitions. There are even definitions of culture across the sciences too, like trying to look for a vaccine for the coronavirus. They're trying to grow that in cultures. So culture is a really fascinating term. I hope you agree. And that's why we're going to spend a whole course unpacking it. We're going to unpack it in the context of intercultural communication, or communication between cultures. What happens when two or more cultures interact with each other? If you look at within the United States, we have lots of intra-U.S. cultures. What happens when Southern people meet Northern people? What happens when Pennsylvanians meet people from New York? What happens when people from the West Coast meet people from the East Coast? Those are cultures within our country that are interacting. So we're looking at culture and the way that it interacts. And we'll be doing that at macro levels across countries, and we'll be doing it at more micro levels within countries. So for the rest of this video, what I would like to do is go through the syllabus now and chart the way for where we're going to go for the rest of the course. So if you want to open that syllabus up, it's on D2L under the Content tab, and we'll start right from the top. Okay, so this is CMST 310, Intercultural Communication. It's a 300 level course. There is a level of writing proficiency that is expected in a 300 level course, as well as analytical abilities, the ability to take information and to pull it apart and gain your own insight. And that's what I'll be looking to do. That's what I'll be looking to elicit from you in the assignments for this class. So let's move on now. We're going to move on to take the syllabus on. So my name's Rob McKenzie, like I said. You can call me Rob or Dr. McKenzie if you like. I have a Ph.D. from Penn State University, but I'm very comfortable with Rob if that's what you want to call me, or professor. Moving on, I have a phone there, and I do receive voicemail messages even during the pandemic, so I can get any voicemail messages, but really the best way to get in touch with me is if you email me. I'm very quick in my responses to email. I usually respond within a couple hours or even sooner. So moving on now through the syllabus, this is an online distance education course. It's going to be delivered through this software platform at ESU called D2L, which stands for Desire to Learn. That's from a Canadian company. You might be able to sense some differences in the culture of D2L that are uniquely Canadian when you go through some of the terms that are used to set up the web page. But this is the software that we'll be using for the class, and you'll need to be able to navigate your way through D2L successfully to be able to do this class. And I find that as some helpful hints for those of you who are taking online classes for the first time, that the biggest complaint that I have from students is they don't remember when assignments are due online. You really have to be disciplined in an online course, and so remembering assignments is really a very big, important part of being successful in an online course. To help you do that, you can set up notifications on D2L under Profile. If you get a profile, every time there's an assignment due, it'll notify you. But having said that, it's a fairly regular routine in this course, and once you get into it in the first couple days, the routine is going to be the same as far as when things are due and what kinds of assignments are occurring every day. We'll get into those when we get a little bit further into the syllabus. At any rate, late assignments will not be accepted. Do not send me any assignments by email. I have just a constant flow of email, and emails just get buried. It's like watching water going down a drain. Everything is going to be handled through D2L. You must be on time. So leave yourself time, right? Leave yourself time for problems with uploads, for problems with internet access, problems with parking, for whatever it is that may slow you down. Leave yourself time to turn your assignments in on time. Now let's move on to the departmental outcomes. So departmental outcomes, there are several of them here. I'm going to let you read those on your own. These are true for no matter what course you take in communication. If you take any course, that course should be demonstrating these outcomes. You should have those outcomes in you by the time that you finish the course. However, I do want to point out the course goals for this particular course, moving through the syllabus. There are 3 goals. One is to use concepts that are related to intercultural communication. That's goal number 1. Goal number 2 is for you to analyze various contexts of intercultural communication. I'm going to have you do that with my discussion questions when you apply the chapter concepts to these contexts that I'm going to be setting up. And then thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, I want you to develop a self-awareness about how culture influences the way that you communicate. That ultimately is what we want to get to, is how the communication of culture is important and how we can overcome barriers between cultures by acquiring appropriate sets of communication skills. All right, so the book situation is a little bit strange. The book is called Intercultural Communication. It actually was written by an old colleague of mine when I first started out as a professor at Cal State San Bernardino. Fred Yant is the author. He was actually the department chairperson who hired me back in 1989. And he has this book, which is a standard book in the field, Intercultural Communication. But it's right in between publication dates for the latest edition. So the latest edition is the 10th edition, and it's coming out later on in July, too late for this class. In the meantime, the 9th edition is the one that we'll be working from, but it's not that easy to find. So I'm going to ask you to get on it if you haven't already, and make sure you have that book. We're going to need it. You're going to need it by Tuesday for your first assignment. The book is for sale at the ESU bookstore if you're local. So we're going to be using Fred Yant's 9th edition for intercultural communication. All right, next up is the idea of special accommodations. If anybody in the class needs special accommodations as certified through the Office of OASIS here at ESU, you can let me know, provide the documentation, and then I will be able to accommodate what you need in terms of extra time, etc., for quizzes and for discussion posts. All right, now let's go on to the course requirements, and now we'll be able to figure out what this course is really about, CMST 310, Intercultural Communication. First up is instructor videos for each class. Just like today you're watching an instructor video, I'm going to have an instructor video for you. It's going to be available by 1 o'clock p.m., usually earlier, but I'm uploading from my house, and the videos take sometimes 3 to 4 hours. They're usually in the neighborhood of 20 minutes long. And so 1 o'clock is going to be the date certain that you can know that you can log on to D2L and start to get to work for that day's classes. So there's going to be an instructor video. And then next up, if you look at the syllabus, you will have quizzes. So there are 14 quizzes for the course. Each quiz is worth 5 points, and I'll be dropping the lowest 4 quiz grades. So you have 14 overall, but only 10 count. The quizzes are going to be worth 5 points each, and they will be timed exactly at 5 minutes. There are 5 questions for each quiz, so 5 questions for each chapter, essentially, as we go through the course. Each question is worth 1 point, 5 points total. You will need to watch the instructor video before you can see the quiz. Usually if a student emails me and says, I can't see the quiz, they've tried to take the quiz without watching the video. It's like not coming to class, right? So in order to see the quiz, you have to watch the instructor video first, which then triggers that link on D2L. Then when you're done the quiz, you have your third assignment, or your third thing that you'll handle for each and every day, and that is a discussion question response post. So I'm going to be posing a discussion question each and every day starting tomorrow, Tuesday, and that discussion question is going to be asking you to apply concepts that you've read in the chapter. And this is for you to demonstrate, first of all, that you've read the chapter, and second of all, that you've really done some intellectual work with that chapter, wrestling with the contents, ruminating over them, thinking about them, synthesizing them, blending them, analyzing them. That's what I'm looking for in these discussion question responses. There will also be 14 of these at 5 points each, and once again, the top 4 or the lowest 4 grades will be dropped, so you'll end up with 10 points for those. So you'll have 10 graded discussion points that will count towards your course grade. All right, now let's move on to course etiquette. This is an online class, and one of the things that I expect you to adhere to is the plagiarism policy at ESU, which means that all of the ideas in this class must be your own. You are not permitted to cut and paste ideas from the web and then put them into D2L as your own answers. Of course, no ideas are truly original out there, so you can certainly be influenced by others' thinking, but you're going to need to be extending off of others' thinking when you make your posts in this class. So I do look for plagiarism. D2L helps me do that. Hopefully nobody in this course will fall into that category, because if you plagiarize, it gets turned over to the Office of Student Conduct for them to figure out, what they're going to do with the hearing, etc. Next up is my email policy. I have an email policy. When you email a professor, please use a salutation. The salutation is a greeting, like hello, or dear professor, or good morning. And also, please check the writing in your emails. Emails are not texts. You should never be dashing off an email and autocorrect has mangled all your words, and then you sent it and then only realized afterwards that you don't have letters capitalized, you don't have periods, you have run-on sentences. That may be appropriate for texting, but in the email world, it's a much more professional world, and as your professor, I want to help you acquire those skills if you don't have them already. So your email should be carefully constructed if you have any questions, and should be written with proofreading and grammar in mind. All right, now let's go on to the tentative schedule of events. You can see that I'm just about done here with this video for today. You can see that what we're doing today is we're going to be assigning introductions for the course, which I'll do in a moment. These are student video introductions, but basically I've been laying out the course for you with the syllabus, and then tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to start out with our very first chapter reading. So you should be prepared to be able to read chapter 1 on Tuesday, and to take the first quiz, and to make your first discussion post. All right, now there is one additional assignment that I'm given for today that's due tomorrow, which we won't be doing this assignment ever again, and that's the introduction video assignment. And that's to bring the class together. We're all operating in a pandemic. We're all operating out of our homes or apartments or other people's guest spaces. This is my backyard right here. This is my classroom right now, is my backyard. And so I need to try and bring the class together as much as possible, and that's why we have this first assignment called introduction videos. So each introduction video should be 2 minutes long. You should introduce yourself in this video according to the dimensions that I have posted on D2L. If you look under the content tab and you look under the discussions tab, you'll see I've put in both places what it is that you're supposed to be covering in your introduction video. It's a way for you to introduce yourself and the rest of us to get to know you. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are as well. I hope you're looking forward to the course. The successful student in this course will know that they have 3 grueling weeks now. 3 grueling weeks where these assignments are due every day. And if you can get it in your mind that you have from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 1 o'clock the next day to complete all your assignments, 24 hours, and if you get that done every single day, you'll be in good shape in this class. All right, I wish you a great day. I'll be talking to you soon.